everyone, and welcome to another episode of I Bought a Watch. Okay, this is the 50th episode, so I thought I'll do something special, and I've set myself a bit of a challenge, or a bit of a nightmare, editing-wise. So I've got the camera set up here, I'm live recording audio here, and hopefully you're seeing my screen. That's why I might look down, and that's because I've got my laptop here, and I'm going to be doing a tier list video, which hopefully should be kind of up around here. So apologies if I'm not always looking in the camera. I know the camera's here. I've got a display of what my face looks like over there. You know, you might never see this, but okay, let's try and kick things off. So yeah, like I mentioned, this is my 50th episode, so I thought I'd do something special in the form of a tier list video. Now, if you're not familiar with a tier list video, I'm going to go through and rank a selection of AliExpress brands that I think are worth mentioning. And I'm going to rank them from SS tier at the top and FF tier at the bottom, with C kind of being the middle ground. And all through the video, I will be bringing out some of my watches, which I've got over down here, and hopefully be bringing them out in a way of doing kind of a weird state of the collection video. The only reason I'm not doing kind of your standard state of the collection video is because I don't really have that much of a collection outside of the watches that I've already shown on the YouTube channel. So I thought instead of that, I would do this. So let's see how this goes. All right, so to start off with, we have Corgeut. It's a great one to start on because I think it's very much kind of middle of the pack. It's got a great range of watches. I love what they're doing. They're not doing the typical Rolex homages, but they're kind of branching out. It's great if you want your Tudor homages or your Omega homages. I've got a couple of Corgeuts, but I've got to say the lack of branding and the kind of questionable quality control on some of their pieces, I think puts them in kind of the middle ground, so I'm going to put them in C tier. Oh yeah, I hope you guys like my little Christmas tree. I thought I'll make it a little festive because we are getting close to Christmas. Oh wait, I should have shown my Corgeuts. So, for example, I have this Spectre. I've got the ring light. I don't know if you guys know, so I should hopefully be lit up quite well so you can see my face. This video is going to be an absolute shambles. So yeah, like I said, C tier. They also really need to sort out that branding. It's such a boring look. If you look at the rest of the brands up there, Corgeut, it's just the Corgeut text written in some kind of boring font. Anyway, next up we have Didun Design. Now, Didun Design, see look, they do some out there designs. They mainly homage the kind of Audemars Piguet Royal Oak. Here's my AP homage. And yeah, it's actually a crazy value watch for £55 I think I spent on it. And the dial on this one is absolutely stunning. It's got to be one of my favourite dials out of any of my homage watches. But that all being said, the customer service at Didun Design is almost non-existent. I think it took almost 4 months for that watch to arrive. I was opening a case with AliExpress that this thing was never going to arrive, and then one day it just kind of rocked up at my doorstep. And I'm glad that it did, because it is a great piece, but because of the lack of customer service, I couldn't advise that you go out and buy one of these. To be honest, you might not have even heard of them because their stores keep popping on and off of AliExpress. It's definitely a bargain at the £55. I think you can go pick them up on like a Didun website for like 200 or 100 and something pounds. I wouldn't do that, so I'm going to put them in D tier. Slowly decorating this Christmas tree. Next up, we have Steeldive. Now, Steeldive is a brand that I haven't had experience with, but if you have been following the channel, I will be giving one away for my 1,000 subscriber special. And that watch, I think, is actually in the UK. I did get a notification on AliExpress that it would, it has arrived and would be coming soon. So hopefully that will be in and on the channel soon, and then I'll be giving it away to one of you lucky subscribers. I picked that up from my affiliate earnings through AliExpress, and yeah, it's just my way of giving back to you guys. I think Steeldive, I'm going to be cautious. It may change once I get my hands on it, but I'm going to put them in A tier because I think they are definitely better than Corgeut from what I've seen on other reviews, but I think there's space in the middle to put a couple of these other brands that are up here. Next up, we have Heimdallr. Heimdallr is kind of a brand that I always confuse with Steeldive because they come in very similar packaging. They have very similar kind of QC control as far as I'm aware. And I'm not really sure. There is a couple of other kind of pairs in these brands up there. And I think that they've somehow, with Steeldive, I don't know if they come out the same factory or whether it's kind of a Cronos Saint Martin pairing where, one is actually the manufacturer and another is a brand that just uses their factory. But I think it's only fair to put them with Steeldive. Now, of course, Steeldive and Heimdallr I don't actually have experience with, so I may be unfairly ranking these things. So if you disagree or have a different kind of ranking for any of these, please let me know in the comments below. I do love to hear what you guys say or what you guys think. And I do read every comment. I've been a bit bad recently at replying to all of you. I'm hopefully going to get on top of that. You know, it's getting close to Christmas, and so, you know, things are getting busy. I'm going to try and keep on top of it. Next up, we have Skmi. You know, this is really a brand. It's never really interested me, but it's very popular among the kind of Casio fans. It seems a bit peculiar for me that they are kind of the only brand here not homaging luxury watches and mainly focus on that. I know they have a full metal G-Shock homage and a metal Casio Royale. They seem to be making very good quality watches, but they lack kind of a range. So I'm going to put them in B tier. Next up, we have some big hitters in the AliExpress world. We have Cronos and Saint Martin. I think these guys deserve the S tier spot. They're definitely up there. They've kind of changed the game on what an affordable AliExpress watch can be. Definitely great brands. Great quality. I know for Cronos, I've got it's not actually Cronos, it's a Retangula, and this is the best quality watch that I own. Great watch, and I do love it, and it definitely deserves that S tier. Next up, we have Ben Nevis. Now, Ben Nevis is a bit of a joke. I had one on the channel very early days. It was my first giveaway. I gave it to Time in the UK, who actually kindly gave me this little watch stand, which I think was better quality than the Ben Nevis, so I think I won out there, but thanks, Paul, for sending that. I think Ben Nevis is probably F tier. The reason it's not in FF tier is I like the brand. I like the branding, actually, to be more correct. Definitely better than Corgeut, let's put it that way. Next up, we have Parnis. Now, Parnis I'm not too familiar with, but they did bring us the GMT. They were the first, as far as I'm aware, of doing the GMT Master homages. And actually, more recently, I was looking on their store, and they've got some original designs, which is kind of ridiculous. Out of all these brands, I think there's only one, well, maybe a couple other, maybe I'm being a bit harsh, but they're kind of Frankensteining, they're pulling things from Tag Octavia, Submariner, Ploprof, kind of mashing it all together. And they're making some pretty interesting looking watches. They're definitely homaging elements. It's maybe more your traditional homage. I think they should be B tier. They could move to A tier if some of those mismatched homages are a bit more popular, but they're definitely one to watch, and I'm going to be certainly getting a couple more on the channel in the future. Next up, we have Pagani Design. Now, if you don't know about Pagani Design, why? Here is my Pagani Design 43mm sub Hulk homage. My first AliExpress watch, and caused this channel. It shot to popularity thanks to channels like Just One More Watch. And it really is the perfect Just One More Watch, because it costs 50 odd quid. That kind of, you're looking at your cheapest service for an actual watch. At that price, it's kind of ridiculous. If you're pricing your watches at the price of a service of your traditional watch, and a very cheap service at that, actually, it's tough to compete with just keep buying these, because it's a great watch. It's solid. It's got the NH35 inside, screw down crown, 60-click unidirectional bezel. You know what? I'm not going to go into the full specs. I've got reviews to all the watches that I show in this. Go check them out. I'll leave links up in the corner. As I bring them on, I'll also put links down in the description. Next up, we have Cadisen. Cadisen is a great brand. It's simplistic. I was going to actually give this away. I think it's 500 subscriber giveaway. I love this watch. I think it looks great, and I'm actually quietly glad that this is the one that was left to me. It's got a Seiko NH36 movement, so that's the day-date complication. And as you can see, I've got it set to the Chinese characters. It adds a bit more visual interest. I think it's a beautiful design. They've really nailed the sunburst on this. I've got it on this leather strap. And yeah, it's my dress piece. It's the one I go to. It's got hand winding, hacking, everything you could want. And it's a great watch, and it's only £40, which is ridiculous. So for that, I think they definitely deserve B tier. They have got some other watches. They've of course got the Cadisen. So if you did like the design of that Didun design that I showed earlier, but want something a bit, that will arrive within a decent period of time, I would definitely consider going for the Cadisen. There are plenty of reviews of that. Watch Me With Watches. He did a good review of both. I think they had a 45mm, and then they brought it down to 42, so it's a bit more wearable. I might be wrong there, but definitely go check that out if you like that style. Next up, we have Megalith. Now, if you haven't heard of Megalith, I don't blame you, because I had never heard of Megalith till I made this video. I googled automatic watches on AliExpress, and Megalith popped up. Check some of their watches. Absolute don't buy Megalith watches. Similar quality to Ben Nevis, but again, I like the logo. So next up we have Reef Tiger. Now Reef Tiger seem to be making kind of the quality of Corgeut, but they're pricing it up at the kind of Steeldive and even Cronos Saint Martin. So I think they maybe got illusions of grandeur. For the price alone, I'm going to put them in D tier. If they lowered their prices more in line with Corgeut, the kind of sub £100, it would be far more attractive. Next up, we have Starking. Now, Starking is very similar to Cadisen. They do kind of the simplistic, dressier style watches, very minimalist. A lot of them are copy designs again. They do well, but they are somewhat lacking in range. And again, I think that's my preference. They do what Cadisen does, but they don't do the extra. They don't have their Cadis. They don't have kind of date-just homages out there. They do male and female watches. That is something to point out. So if you want to buy a watch for the missus, or if you are a woman watching this video, that they might rank higher on your list. But for me personally, a lot of their watches look kind of the same, and they don't really have that range of designs. Ooh, next up we have Phylida. Now, I have a lot of Phylidas. I have fallen in love with Phylida. I've got my Phylida Kermit here. I've got my Phylida Railmaster here. I've got my Phylida Speedmaster here on this strap from Strapsco. If you haven't seen that video, check that video out. Oh yeah, I've got my Aqua Terra homage. So all of these homages, they're brilliant. I mean, this watch, this Speedmaster homage alone, you know, deserves them a spot in A tier, to be honest. If they only released one watch, they would get up to A tier. It's the Seagull ST19 movement. Its ring light is good, but also it's not going to focus. Anyway, you just have to go watch the video. I'll leave a link wherever so you can go watch that. So yeah, Phylida, I'm going to put them in A tier because I think, although it's great, they're definitely a watch brand on the rise. This one is amazing, especially in green. They managed to kind of color match the date wheel. They're doing a lot of things that we as watch enthusiasts are really looking for, and I'm kind of loving it. I love to see where they're going to go with their brand. And I think if they release another couple of if they release more of these sell out so quickly. I did a kind of update video on this where they'd come back onto the AliExpress store and they sold out within a couple hours. It was crazy. I thought because there's a lot of demand for them, I thought, you know, I'll do the good thing I noticed. So I spread the news to you guys. And already, like by the end of the day, people were already commenting on that video saying, oh, they're already sold out. And little did I know that they would, you know, I think I released that video as soon as I saw it at like 10 in the morning. And by the evening, like 6, 7 at night, that they had already gone. I think they had already gone by about 3 in the afternoon. It was crazy. I don't know if they have come back. I don't, you know, religiously check the Phylida Speedmaster homage page. If they do come available, I'll do my best to kind of update on that video. I'm not going to keep releasing videos updating that particular watch, even though I do know people are very keen on it. Anyway, next up, we have Guanqin. Now, I've heard really bad things about Guanqin. They have released a couple of passable watches in the past, but I think I saw a video. It didn't seem to, you know, hit the mark, and more kind of worryingly is it lied. I don't have any tolerance to lying. I know some people will criticize saying like, oh, but your Corgeut says automatic chronometer. That is cutting it a bit fine. I know maybe that's just giving them benefit of the doubt that they're not intentionally trying to mislead people. But when a company says, oh, our watches has sapphire glass, and actually it's mineral glass, I really don't have any time for that. So unfortunately, Guanqin, you are in FF tier. Next up, well, this is going straight to SS tier. Seagull. I mean, probably the only brand that on this list has been featured positively in a Hodinkee article. They've got some great designs. There's one of their watches. It's got 2 crowns at the 2 and 4, and it's got an inner rotating bezel, and it looks stunning. It's a really cool looking watch. Of course, they have the ST19, the 1963. They do some homages. There's a couple of, you know, Nomos-esque looking watches that they definitely can't take full credit for. Without a doubt, they deserve that SS spot because they're probably a brand that, you know, at the end of this video, I'm sure there'll be some people who disagree with AliExpress watching entirely, and they were like, oh, well, if you're doing a tier list video, these should all be in the FF tiers. But they would probably still put Seagull at a D or a C tier because it's got some horological significance. Oh, and I mean, I've said it already before, but of course this tier list is relative. I'm not putting these watches, you know, in the same kind of categories because there is a lot to be said about original design. So yeah, they would all be shunted down. This is completely subjective and within the bounds of AliExpress. And that being said, last but not least, another brand. It's a weird one to end on. Loreo. I'm also going to put it in C tier. I thought it was funny on the Loreo logo. It says German technology. They claim that their crystals are manufactured in Germany. That's why they've got that kind of German technology badge. They have been popular in the past. They were very popular with their Submariner homage line. They had a whole load of different color options, bezel options. You could pretty much pick any different combination you wanted. And so I think they should go in C tier, just simply from the fact that I haven't seen anything or heard anything from Loreo in ages. On that note, let's end it. If you did enjoy the video, please remember to like and subscribe. I do appreciate it. And hit that notification bell icon because I will be giving away that Steeldive watch in a future video sometime soon. And you want to be notified because I do want to give it back to you guys because you guys, for whatever reason, keep coming back to watch my videos. Anyway, guys, stay awesome, stay safe, and I'll see you again in the next episode. Bye. You guys have no idea how weird it is just talking in my room to my phone.